maybe the team's just working together overall a little bit better. I'm trying to say it as nice as I can.
I think for Infinity as well, like they easily could have taken that match yesterday. In fact, they probably should have done on Inferno. So I think that's at least something going forward. You can go, okay, like, yeah, they threw things away. Maybe the pressure got to them playing on LAN. They clearly think that they've come into this well prepared. The only thing I would say there is if they say that everybody in this is on the same level, I don't agree. I think Sharks are clearly a level above at the moment. But we'll see if I can be proven wrong later in the day. Already so much damage done off the back of utility and just spam out from Detona early in this round, but the bomb is going to be able to go down with not too much resistance. Tiburcio kind of needed to get the kill there. That would have helped his team quite a bit if he could have caught one while crossing, but we'll see how they're going to fare in the retake. They don't currently have a kit. Well, they're not going to find one, unfortunately. They can't go back to the spawn and buy it now, but it does mean they're going to have to move that little bit faster, Jason.
Yeah, faster, something we're definitely going to need to see, considering no kills have actually gone in so far. PRT's going to be the one to make the first push coming through. VSM trying to give him some sort of support from the coffin side, but it seems to be an all-out bloodbath here with a 2-for-2 exchange in the end. Time is running out. Even if they try to go for the bomb, it's going to be too late. And Detona just, I'd say, completely whiffing that round, taking way too long to go for the engagement.
Yeah, it seemed like they were waiting for everybody to be in place, maybe expecting someone to have a kit there.
Also, Turtles. So if you notice, before they actually went for any sort of retake on the site, he was trying to push middle, and he caught one player down towards the bottom of mid. So maybe they were hoping he'd be able to flank in from Banana and help clear out some angles while they pushed in from the actual site, but it didn't work. No. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, they took way too long. They didn't even get on the defusal at all there, so it is now going to have to be the force buyout from the CT side, a decent amount invested into utility, and the Deagle on every single player. Nades over the top will start things off very nicely for Detona. Of course, for Infinity, they are going to have the better weaponry here. Always like to see a little switcheroo for the player that's low. Don't want to hand away that AK for free. Malb's now trying to lead the charge, but in fact has been lost.
Can I actually ask a question to Prius here? Can you show us utility damage when we have a second? Because I'm really curious, with only, well, now 2 rounds being played, how much was actually done?
It won't update until after.
As a 77 on Tiburcio, so he had a really good nade on the entry in towards the B side earlier. Yeah. I wonder what it's going to be after this round, because if you think back to the first round, there was 3 players like 50 HP or lower, and yet we didn't see Detona cleanly take the actual bomb site there. So credit to Detona, do some really good utility damage early on, but it hasn't net them around just yet.
Well, more nades being expended. Looks like the last smoke they have is actually deep on the other side of the map, so now it does just come down to the raw aim. Nice shot from Tiburcio, and the smoke actually misses. It gives him a lot of vision, and they're losing players. They haven't even got a single kill. Turtle picks off one and hits the headshot onto the second as well. What a way to win a round from the Brazilian side, and they're going to take that round clean.
We need a name for this, Tom, where you win the pistol and you lose the follow-up, and then your economy is just screwed for the next few rounds.
That was called a deco.
It's just, we've seen it happen so many times over this last week and a half. And this was just kind of Infinity taking their time to make their way in towards the site. They took a bunch of utility damage again before they even had a chance to return any of that.
See, the force buy on the T side is called S-Jesus.
Why are you going to bring religion into it?
No, it's just because the SGs are the savior.
So then, there we go. 135 damage for Tiburcio off grenades. Insane stuff. And now they push down aggressively. Turtle's going to get caught out as well as Tiburcio. And, well, you know what? Mobs, he was one of the players I was looking for. He shows up with 2, picks up an AK. And you would assume the bomb's going to rotate back here. And also, in the meantime, you have Spamsy flanking around towards CT spawn. This is going to be so hard for Detona to hold on to unless they push out aggressively. But that's going to be the first for VSM. But Spamsy, he's got to not miss these shots.
Yeah, Malbs, I think he needed to execute one hit. Nice shot from Spamsy, but they've still got to deal with PRT, and I'm not really sure why Lucauzi's still so far away. I guess because they haven't spotted the bomb. They now have a chance to try and overwhelm PRT. Nice amount of damage. He's going to switch to the Deeg and leaves Davies with just 9 health left. Lucauzi finally making his rotation. An AK at least picked up for Davies, which gives him that chance, gives him an opportunity for the one-tap, but all Lucauzi has to do is hit a bullet, and that will be enough to win them the round. The only question is now, you do so much with what is mostly pistols. do you try and force it up again with SMGs? Now, it's not like if you lose the pistol and you force, because a bomb plant there gives you a little bit of extra money, plus there's that loss bonus you now get. But in reality, there's still going to be a temptation here. Like, we've seen teams, multiple teams now actually close out games with MAC-10s or take it to overtime. So I wonder if maybe we will see some sort of force buy and then go for maybe an apartments push or something. They've actually got enough to get an SG into the hands, so he's going to have to be S-Jesus for this round.
Can he be the savior for Infinity? Or will this round be beyond them? You do have a Galil. I know how much you like that weapon. Your favorite, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a pile of trash. Supposedly there's some arguments for it on the CT side just because of the amount of bullets that it has. You can sort of sit and spam a little bit more. I saw like I think it was a Reddit post about that, but you know, I'm not a fan.
Well, they're left Tiburcio all alone towards the B side. He does have a smoke to help block them off. He does get the first kill onto Sam, but he hasn't been able to take out any of the weapons just yet. I think Flashbang might come through to look for spams that he hit a shot around the corner, and well, Tiburcio's just going to back away. No smoke to stop them either, so they're going to walk straight in towards the site, wait for the reinforcements to come through, and Infinity getting the SG set up, getting the bomb down. They have a very realistic chance of pulling this off, Tom.
Yeah, the retake with the pistol round wasn't great, and this one hasn't started off great either. They still have 3 smokes, and the gun's just been blasted as well. That nade has pushed it further away. You could see them trying to save that extra M4. And they are just going to have to save again. And that's a real worry for Detona early on in this match, that the B site almost seems open for business. Like, they didn't really have to do too much there. It was a single smoke. That is normally why the better scenario is either you have 2 players there, or you have your AWPer or whoever it is aggressive enough that they can find out the information early enough and then throw down a smoke. Instead for him, it was the flashbang comes through, that's where he should have put the smoke down, because he's already lost all the information, all the vision, everything. And instead, he then goes, okay, let's re-peek. Oh, they're coming. And then that's the side goal.
I would rather have seen him play like maybe towards coffins, because then he'll see like the flashes and smokes coming in. He can just throw the smoke down and maybe look for a quick pick, and he's still going to be safe for the most part.
It's one of the, like, that I can argue in the sense of, like, I agree that you're more likely to find out the information, but you're also more likely to die. And in the same sense, he will see things sooner from the angle he's actually in, because he can see further around the corner. So there's definite arguments for him playing where he was. It's just that the utility user was way too late to actually stop them getting in.
And also no utility user Detona on a retake there either. I think you point out they had like 3 smokes. And
they have all the utility that they still have now.
And that, I mean, you know, maybe smoke off banana, smoke off a couple of places around the site to go for the actual retake. But instead, save it into the next round. All tied up at 2 apiece. VSM only had 1 kill, so a little bit of a rocky start for him so far, but we know he can easily pick it up. We saw him do it yesterday on Vertigo. There we go, looks like some smoke's being thrown in. Cruising looking to push out through apartments. Everyone else is actually getting cozy over towards the long side of A. It looks like the 4 players might just go for the wraparound towards short, which really puts a lot of pressure on Cruising. He's got to hit this shot, and actually he turns away at the wrong time. I think he would have been able to spot out PRT.
Oh, this kind of day. Just on the edge.
He's stuck there. I mean, 4 players wrapped towards Arch side, and Cruising doesn't have to do anything. Just the smoke alone kept the attention towards him.
Yeah, at least for the CT side, it leaves them in a position where they can just save all the weapons once again. There's only the forced up pistols, so they'll go into the next round with rifles across the board and a reasonable amount of utility as well. Unfortunately, what it's done for their opponents means that there's so much money. Infinity's going to have a flawless round. They get to keep every single one of their weapons, which, well, unfortunately for Cruz, I mean, he has to have a Galil in the next round, but other than that, everything's good. And it will mean that they have a bit of a buffer, which I think on the T side is going to be fairly important for them. I think they had a relatively decent T side yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it no? Didn't they have a 9-6 CT side?
Infinity?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes. I am thinking, though, about the grand scheme of things. We have to kind of give context to this match. Because Sharks already beat Detona. That was yesterday. Isris beat Infinity. So both these 2 teams are currently 0-1. Now, the last place team out of their group gets sent to relegation. The first place team goes through straight to the finals, and the second, third place play in the second group stage, which has teams like Furia, Renegades, Complexity,
yeah, they won't
United.
get out of that group.
Yeah, so this is probably, this is a very important match for these two teams. I think if you look at it as, well, Infinity, if you lose here, then you play against Sharks, and with what we saw yesterday, that probably would be a loss as well. And you'd be looking at 0-3 and being relegated. For Detona, I mean, they're down 0-1, but if they lose here as well, they could potentially be relegated too. And this is the team who made it through into the finals last season. So a lot on the line here for both these two teams.
Oh, smoke execution. Coming in for Infinity, looking to clear out a lot of these early angles. VSM misses the shot with the AWP. He's been handed it in this round by Tiburcio, but has no impact whatsoever and leaves his teammates on the site. Pretty much an impossible scenario as PRT's gapped it some wonderful shots and Lukazi at least gets 2. He gives enough time actually for a rotation to come in from Tiburcio as well, so they do have an opportunity here. The only real problem is they now have no utility. The AWP going to be picked up, and this is almost just a hopeful idea of the person in pit peeking.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really see how this is going to give them too much. And while with the money that they currently have in their bank, if they don't get a kill fairly soon, they may just have to consider the same.
I think they're going to. If Turtle doesn't hit a shot onto anyone with the amount of time they have left. Right, still look to go for it though. Tiburcio's going to lead the charge, and Turtle does get the second. And, well, it went from a potential save into the defuse coming through and a round picked up for Detona.
Yeah, really nice shot from Tiburcio actually getting back into the site. And that was everything, because he gets the pick, and then the peek comes out from pit where the AWP is already waiting. So I like that. It was solely reliant on him getting a kill. But yeah, they're going to even things up. That will be 3 for 3. But yeah, sort of back to what you were talking about, at least with Sharks. I think the one thing that really gives Sharks a leg up on everyone else is not only have they been playing in North America, but I think playing here has actually allowed for them to improve their map pool. Like, one of the things that it's sort of a little bit different to every other team is they currently have Nuke and Vertigo as maps they want to play. No other team here does. Tiburcio again. He's having a much better performance than yesterday. I think the worst performer in both maps playing up against Sharks, and it's good to see him performing once again. I met him once in Sweden, and he said when I cast him, he played better. And yesterday, I was starting to worry a little bit because he did get owned. But already 9-2.
Me probably talking most of the time when he was on screen.
Maybe that was it.
So I'll just bite my tongue whenever we have him on camera. So if you're Prius here, and of course, obviously we hate each other, you just spectate him and only him to get me to not talk. No.
Well. They're going to have a good setup now with such an advantageous position. VSM's able to rotate in, and while didn't do too much in the last round with the AWP, but he's put the last player down to barely any HP, and will even finish his dinner as well. 4-3. Detona take things back after what was a decent previous round and a very strong CT hold in this one. And a lot of it did come off the back of aggression, and that was something that Sam A spoke about in the interview that he had, that something they've had to really adapt to is the level of aggression that comes out from Brazilian Counter-Strike. And it's something that I think we've definitely spoken about in the past within like the overall Counter-Strike scene, is that we did see a lot of aggression initially from some of the Brazilians. And, well, T-side are actually going to go for a force here.
But I feel like they're also a little bit one-dimensional in the sense, if they're not aggressive, they're not really taking rounds. And when you're on the CT side, you can't really afford to do that too often. Obviously, the T side's going to be able to read into that and ideally should be prepared. But we've seen Detona's B push work a couple of times now, but it looks like they want to barrel out into the A side. They still have Lukazi going to be here over towards Graveyard, I believe. PRT towards short, and Lukauzi's got to hit these shots. He needs to stay alive. Fortunately, he's going to fall, but will they expect PRT to be here? Will they even have a chance to go for him because VSM's tucked in sight? He's got the op-out. He hit quite a few shots in the last round. And looking to do it yet again. Actually, the drop comes in towards pit, so the two players, well, now the one player out of Infinity is going to be at least with some sort of protection towards the backside, but with all the CTs heading towards him, I would imagine Mobs is going to be in for a rough time, but there's his first. He still has 3 more to find, though.
And the Mobs forcing him into the open, and Tiburcio is there to close things. 5-3 now as Detona seem like they've stabilized a bit from the early positions we had within the map, and It's actually off the back of their in-game leader, Tiburcio. He's been playing very well. We see VSM starting to step up as well. And I think this has just given some confidence into the rest of the players within the team.
Yeah, I mean, you said he was a little bit underperforming yesterday. But
Yeah,
then to
for
have
sure.
him step up today and be the top fragger at 10 kills, has to rile up the rest of the team. And well, considering how this match already started, it's been very, very awkward, I think is maybe the right word to use. Here too, though, I think Cruisin has been able to slip by. Just gonna spot him out now, and we just have some assistance out of Lucalzi over towards short, though, so he'll be fine. They'll have the man advantage yet again. And I think Infinity's like game plan should be revolving around Detona getting aggressive, like punish them towards B. We saw Mobs do it in one of the rounds they won with the Deagle. ESM, well, unfortunate to miss that first shot, but he still has backup. And that will be Detona taking another round. 6 rounds for them. Starting to stabilize and look a little bit more comfortable today.
So to put things into perspective with how well Tiburcio started today, yesterday over 2 maps he managed 19 kills. So he managed 10 kills on Vertigo and 9 kills on Dust 2.
And to give context to that, it was 16-12s as well in those matches.
Yeah, so he was 19 to 41.
Long games.
And he has already got, I think, 11 kills in this one. So he may even beat that in this map alone if he carries on the way he is. So yeah, an important step up from him. Always good to have your in-game leader fragging as well. And it seems like everybody's hitting their shots at the moment. VSM is going to hand the AWP over. They've switched it between 3 different players. It just seems to be what they want to be doing in different rounds. And hey, if everybody's going to be hitting their shots with the AWP, I don't really mind. Like, you can just juggle up these positions. Lucalzi, this is such an aggressive spot. No one is going to expect him here. This is something you might see in matchmaking. Like, no one pushes this far at all. Like, this just doesn't happen. The only real false positive he might have just given is that Mabs has managed to get past and sort of walk into the exact positions he was just in. Now, they should make the realization, and there you go, VSM with the perfect timing. It clicks in his mind. And Detona going to get their 7th onto the board, starting to dominate here.
Yeah, I was actually starting to regret choosing Detona with how well Infinity was playing off the get-go. The pistol round, yeah, they lost the round after that, but then they came back with the Deagle play out of Mobs. But I wonder still, Tom, like if you look at Detona versus, I guess, generally any North American team we've had in the prior groups, this aggression that they're going for, I don't feel like it would work so easily against them. And I'm kind of worried for Infinity that they haven't been able to kind of like wise up to it so far. Maybe that round, obviously, the mid push we haven't seen happen so far in the game, but we've just seen non-stop aggression at Detona.
Well, I think that round especially is something that I don't think any team would predict, because it's bordering on madness, like, to go that far down. But at the same time, it's clear that Detona are just playing with massive confidence. I think they know they have their opponent's number, and Tiburcio again shuts down this banana play. He is out of his mind at the moment. 15 and 2. Smashing it at the top of the board.
Yeah, 4 kills in that round. I mean, he was just up against pistols, but still, 4 kills anyways. And the confidence, I think, is the most important part he gets from rounds like that.
He's 4 kills off what you got in the whole series yesterday.
Hey, I already got called out from Leo about saying he was the worst performing player.
No, but I think I've spoken to Tiburcio before, and I think the one thing I do like quite a lot about him is we saw it in the interview as well. He definitely seems open to like criticism and like admitting his own mistakes, which I think for an in-game leader is a crucial aspect. Like, of course you want to have confidence. Of course, going forward in tournaments, playing against some of the better teams, you can't go in going, okay, well, I have my doubts about this. But like to openly admit that, okay, we should have put more time in when we were in Europe. Like, they'd sort of said, like, when they lost that Esports Cup, like, they definitely should have been one of the favorites there, and they sort of admitted, like, okay, we didn't play to what we should have done. I can respect that.
Kind of like the complete opposite of what you hear about in the French CS scene, where no one will take criticism at all, and they always think they're right in these situations. And I like that idea. I like that Tiburcio's open to that, because I feel like he's someone you can get along with on a team. He's someone that you're going to be, happy to have, and you're not going to worry about saying, hey, maybe we should try something differently, or hey, maybe we need to do this or that.
Is he giving up?
I don't know if he's giving up, or maybe it's a tech issue for Cruisin.
He does have 4 ADR, so I would be putting that down to a tech issue if I was playing. Just be like, oh, my mono's been off.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to restart this round really quickly. But look at the money Detona have, by the way.
Just like playing with a wireless mouse, and oh, it's not plugged in. Ah, I forgot the cable.
Well, it's wireless, so why would you need a cable?
That's the joke.
I mean,
well done,
you
Jason.
can play wireless mice with cables. I do have.
I know you can.
Wait, are we sponsored by anyone? Any peripherals?
I would just say unnamed wireless mouse brand.
Yes, unnamed wireless mouse brand.
And it charges, and you can use it at the same time.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I
really
have
nice.
that too.
Really cool. Really enjoying it. I actually bought it so I could play a certain game on the road, and then I stopped playing that game, and now I kind of regret spending $100 on it. But I do use it on my PC now, so it works out. So it looks like, yeah, the quick little tech pause coming through. Obviously try to sort out Cruisen's his rig. If he bounces back after being like 1 and 9 and 4 ADR, and he just starts to like carry his team and be like, man, you should have called that out back in the first round. But again, this is a very important match for these two teams. No one wants to go 0-2 in the group because that almost seals your fate as being the team being relegated. I don't know how it actually works when it comes to the adminning of that. I'm not going to try after Group A, after my big blunder.
Yeah, just let Michael do it.
But wait, Tom, if I'm reading this right, Furious through, and they're #1. And then we find out, or I find out the next day, no, actually they're not through.
Well, I think the worst one was definitely when you went, and now that they've lost this map, it is pointless. And then it turned out if they won the game, they were through.
It's not my fault that these get so confusing and hard to understand.
I was sat there like, wait, Swell Patrol out?
Oh.
I was like, nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's tough sometimes. Oh, this music's amazing. I feel like I'm watching Inception.
I was gonna say that as well. Yeah, it does sound like it's stolen from that film, and I hope it's not, because that's probably
borrowed. I mean, you did play the Smurf song on air yesterday.
I played it.
For like
there's
5
like
seconds.
a fair use thing for like a few seconds. I think you're allowed to play something. I'm not entirely sure of that. I think that's like at least how it's been used on other platforms that I'm not going to name, but you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I do think that this is a match now where Infinity are definitely fighting up against it. They did reasonably well on the CT side yesterday, but I think they just got off to a good start. And the other thing as well is, like, you have to bear in mind that Isurus were, like, they looked a lot better in the past because we had Mayan actually on their team from Sharks. So I think they've dropped off and still Infinity weren't able to beat them. And I do think that that was sort of almost like the losers match on the first day. Like, that's one of the ones
should have
where,
been, yeah.
Yeah, they had to battle up against each other. So I am fully expecting Sharks to win later. I think everybody on the desk is going to be unanimous on that one, unless somebody's trying to be a little bit sassy. And I think going forward, we now sort of look at Detona as the team that should be coming second, but it's really difficult to know what to expect from them.
Okay, well, you know what? Looks like we're still having a little bit of a tech pause. As you can tell, Tom's gotten a lot taller and I've gotten a lot shorter. This is how we like to balance each other out.
Like stand. Oh wait, I don't want to. Do I want to show off the orange shorts?
No one knew you were wearing shorts. You didn't have to say it.
But I wanted to get up here, and then it's like, yeah. No,
I'm gonna actually zooming the camera out.
I'm gonna break something if I stand up on there.
Well, you know what, Tom? One thing I love about Counter-Strike is little Easter eggs. And on Cash, there actually is a slight little Easter egg that I think a production crew took some time to go find.
Oh, it's a bike.
It's not a bicicleta, no.
Oh.
It's actually a cat.
Oh, dear Lord.
And I don't I haven't seen it actually. This is the first time I've seen it. But if you don't know what it is, it's actually
an
the
animal
creator. Okay.
That is like, it's a bit like a small tiger.
Yeah, but tigers are more lovable than these kind of creatures.
Okay.
And no one really likes them. But if you don't know what this cat
Strongly disagree.
Then we have a little bit of information for you. We have a little bit of a tidbit, a little Snapple fact for you. And you can see here, so adorable.
It does.
You guys will know Sapphire.
Sapphire's cat does not look impressed. It's like, what are you doing?
No, I think the cat's like, where's my paycheck? Using my face, where's my royalties? But obviously Yoshi gonna be bringing a lot of luck to a lot of teams. As I guarantee you, there's quite a few out there that want to get back into Cash. I would love to see it reintroduced. Still would love to see Inferno taken out, but that's just my opinion.
You're a wrong'un. Like, you're just wrong. Like,
I just hate how slow Inferno plays. That's why.
Yeah, well, people don't like you either, Jason, but we have to put up with it.
Tell me something I don't know.
Jesus, who doesn't like Inferno?
Why are you gatekeeping me on my map preferences?
Because it's like the best map to watch. As a commentator, it is the jewel of Counter-Strike when it comes to third matches.
I feel like people wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't always picked as a third map.
What does that even mean?
I feel like, well, what if like Mirage was always the third map for some reason? Then we'd be like, oh, Mirage is the classic third
But they
map
don't.
of the series.
And Mirage is picked a lot. And I'm pretty sure it's third map in this series.
Is it? It is. See? Mirage is the best third map of the series.
It's not that. I don't think we're going to get there. From the way that things have been going so far, I'm not feeling too comfortable on that. But yeah, you're definitely just wrong. Like,
you know what, Tom? People are allowed to have opinions, okay?
You
have no statistical evidence to prove what you're saying.
That doesn't even make any sense at this.
It doesn't
regard.
have to make sense, Tom.
It's one of the most played maps, one of the most popular maps. It's one that pretty much everybody says is that. It's even a thing to say that Inferno is the best third map.
Just because people said it's a thing doesn't mean it's a thing, okay, Tom?
Because you don't say it's a thing doesn't mean it's not a thing. Look,
so we're both
can you just go back to Overwatch,
thing.
please? Like, you weren't missed. We don't need you here, and we're going to stick with Inferno in the map pool and get rid of something else, you know.
I just stopped listening to you because I felt like a production talking to me was more important. But you know what? You don't need to hear us talking about who's right and who's wrong. Let's actually hear some thoughts, as Tom, luckily his mic will be turned off here, about the new cache.
I like the new cache update. I think it brings a lot of freshness and just a lot of opportunities for teams to be creative. And then I hope it just gets added pretty soon because, you know, we've had some of the maps in there for a while and it could be something fun.
I would say for the most part, it's not like a lot of crazy changes, but there's small tweaks here and there that can really make a difference. And also a big thing that I noticed is like different textures and stuff like that.
Some of the saturation was maybe a little too much, but I think they adjusted that. It was a little too green.
I haven't had time to watch the new one that much, but I think cache in general is a good map.
I'd like to see cache added back as soon as possible.
I think it should replace Vertigo.
Want to replace Mirage or Dust 2 probably?
Probably Vertigo. I was going to say like a different map other than Vertigo, but they just changed Vertigo again, so now I'm going to say Vertigo.
I don't know. I mean, in terms of my individual, I like Mirage, but I think in terms of the scene, I think Mirage has started to get outdated, so I think Mirage is a good option for a map it could replace.
Well, you know what, Tom? All those players are wrong too. Don't replace Mirage.
I didn't hear Inferno named, in fact, once.
It's because they don't like to talk about the map, because they don't enjoy the map.
If you say so.
Just give me some mill, okay? Give me some Tuscan, and I'll be more than happy to say that that is the best map ever created. I have a soft spot in my heart for Fire. Just a good old CPL Fire playing in the Cal days.
So does Sam,
the OGL days.
the map. Oh, okay.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that wasn't bad. But yeah, no, obviously, we even heard, was it from Davey talking about he would love to see, actually Davey and I remember seeing, was it Harry talking about over in the EU broadcast, how they want to see more community maps involved in scrimming. They want to see more maps added to the pool. And I love that. I kind of got really frustrated. Yeah, I got really frustrated when looking like back to the early days of CSGO where like players and teams didn't want to see new maps being added in. They didn't want to see Cobble. They didn't want to see Overpass. But you know what? Variety is a spice of life. And I love seeing these new innovations when it comes to maps being added. You know, seeing these spam spots like on Cache coming out, seeing even spam spots on Train, or just in general learning how to do new things. And I feel like that is the true test in all of esports for a team. To find out who's the best, it's about the teams who can adapt the best to new things we introduce, new patches, new metas. And if you can adapt the quickest, you're going to be the best. And that's what I love to see.
Well, I think the problem with like not changing the map pool is it would be bad for quite a lot of teams. Like you see teams like when Nuke was added back in, like the whole like rankings sort of changed for a bit because obviously there were teams that didn't really play Nuke and they had to rework their map pool.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things where it's like if everything stayed the same, you'd get teams that maybe don't get to rise up, and it would just be a problem, I think, overall if it was just the same game. It would also get stale to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I would actually love to see like seasons introduced where you have like these set 8 maps to play throughout like a 4 or 6 month season, then map pool changes almost completely into the next. But anyways, we're back into the game. Looks like the tech issues for Cruisin' has been sorted out. I believe I heard he had problems getting back into the game, but it's all fixed. But now will Infinity's game plan be fixed as they have lost quite a few rounds in a row? 8-3 as Detona have been able to bounce back. And again, aggression. They're not going to stop doing it. They're going to continue to push down the B site. And they want these early kills. They want to continue where they left off, Tom.
Well, yeah, I imagine Cruisin' probably does not feel the same way, as at the moment he's been cruising for a bruising. But realistically, you'd have to hope that the pause has maybe given them a little bit of time to calm down. Now we're going to see Tiburcio actually burned out. I think he was blind. I think Davies left him completely blind there. And while that has meant that the Flames have been able to take him down. Turtle looking like he might try and fall back. This is a bit of an interesting position. Like, maybe it gets him 1 kill. Okay, the smoke was smart. It gives him almost enough time to get away, which he will. He keeps the man advantage going. He's actually going to retrieve the AWP, just because he is so low on health. And now all that early fight, all that battle, which has taken over a minute in the round, and the T still don't have banana.
They don't really have anything. They're going to be gifted over towards middle. You're still going to have PRT there to defend, and you have Lukowski. Well, he's in a rough spot. She's just going to preemptively smoke off the back of pit. 20 seconds left to go. They're going to have to pick up the pace here. They're going to run out of time, Tom. 15 seconds, and they're just starting to finally wrap around towards Library. Finally get towards the side. PRT's holding an off angle on him, and he gets the first kill. He's not going to be able to escape from this. Lukowski, though, he's looking to drop the bomb, and he does, and that should just be the round over. Sam's going to get a kill, but he has no time left, and Detona will take another round on the board.
Yeah, I think they're really struggling just with map control in general. Like, they're having to execute onto the site so late. I think some of that has to go down to Detona, as we've sort of mentioned throughout, being quite aggressive with their banana control. But the fact they managed to get an opener, like with still about a minute left, and still never actually gain control of banana at all, just seems like a problem. And well, when you're running into the site with 10 seconds left, that's bound to happen. Like, the bomb is bound to hit the deck, and you have to be a little bit lucky to get away with it. Unless, of course, you're one of the top teams, and it's sort of all part of the plan. Like, you've left things late, you've baited rotation, you've used your utility well. Maybe then there's an argument for it. But if you're just running in because you've run out of time, that's a bit of a problem.
Well, another big problem for them is they don't really have utility here. Yeah, 3 smokes, a flashbang. I don't even want to say decoy because...
You don't. Just don't say it at all.
Exactly.
We call that the fake flash. Or the fake smoke occasionally. There have been a few teams that have done fake smoke executions with decoys, which makes the same sound. So that's kind of interesting. That's the only thing I've really seen decoys properly used for.
I feel like if you could have a decoy while still having the 2 flashes, the smoke and the nade or the incendiary, then it wouldn't be too bad, because then you could fully use those for fake smokes all the time.
That would be cheating.
Well, we're going to see Sam looking to open things up for them. Going to be tough to do so on the B site, especially when they have this utility left to work with, and the smoke perfectly timed to completely cut him off. He does have the bomb this location as well with Spam's actually going to boost over this. That was a smart choice, but unfortunately able to connect the shot onto Turtle. And VSM's able to get a kill. That was in towards apartments, and I think now they're going to know this has got to be coming towards B.
They have a smoke and an incendiary still left to hold this back. It comes a bit late, but I guess Tiburcio just wants to pad those stats further, and him and Turtle, this is night and day from yesterday. Their defense of this site has been fantastic. They do eventually go down, but does it even matter? There's 3 players left. Davies is trying to bait out some players to push through the smoke. He's still fake planting this, and well, I almost wonder if he should have just planted it, because there's nothing he can do here. Detona are going to get into double digits, and I have to say, from their CT side defense, I've been thoroughly impressed. We've seen aggressive rounds with takes of banana. We've seen peaks with the orb, which have been successful. We've now seen a passive round on the site as well with the boost utilized. Like, they're being very dynamic in their play, and Infinity have nothing that they can use against it.
Again, I like to have seen... Did we even have the Molotov thrown in that they had? I don't think it was actually used there, and the smoke was thrown towards CT, which you're going to, you know, that's fine. That's understandable. But I'd say stop hitting the B site. I think the most success they've actually had was going towards Archway. Detona have actually given them free reign of that for a good amount of time. We saw, you know, what, 2 rounds prior, they rotated around Arch to try to hit the site, but they ran out of time. Use that. Maybe you can do like a 3-2 split or like a 4-1 split towards B. If you can draw away the player that was defending towards Arch. I think that's potentially the weakness out of Detona on the defense.
I think some of the time, though, they've had VSM play there with the AWP. Like, they've switched it up quite a lot, and that's actually... Like, I don't think I've seen too many teams on Inferno where 3 different people have had an AWP at different times, and I don't know how I would react to playing against that either. Like, it literally could be anywhere. It's now onto VSM once again. He is playing that outside. They're just trying to brute force this, running through with only pistols in their hands. They're going to be held back by the Molotovs, at least for now, and this is aggressive. Tiburcio, like, so close around the corner. I think this time needs to be a little bit more passive. VSM is going to be rotating, but he's left blind. The flashbangs this round have been good, but the trades still come back in. Finally, VSM going to be looking to shut them down, and Sam left alone. He is the man you'd want in these clutch situations. He seems to be the man that Infinity want in every situation.
Just not a Molotov situation.
But can he win this in the 1 versus 2? Nice shot. I don't know how he manages to win that battle and actually looks to run away, but he'll be caught from Lukowski. It's an 11th round on this CT half for Detona. Bear in mind, what was it, 3-2 in favor of Infinity? They haven't lost a round since.
I did actually like how Infinity, instead of waiting at the Bombadana, they actually pushed it aggressively. They saw the forward smokes being thrown in. They knew that Tiburcio will most likely shouldn't have one, so once you flash him up and once you rush him down, you should have the site open for your team. The problem was VSM. He was able to rotate in, and they weren't able to deal with him quick enough. I think VSM only died because he just got too antsy.
He got greedy.
Exactly. He got greedy at the end. I wanted to say it in a little bit of a nicer way, but it's exactly what happened. But 11-3, looking at a 12-13, or sorry, 12-3 half. Let's see, Infinity. I feel like they've been learning as this match has been going on. They know Detona like to be aggressive. They countered it with aggression from themselves. But they haven't been able to take the pieces of what they've learned and been able to create and formulate like a proper plan to punish them.
It's like trying to overtake the kid in school who's a year above you. Anything that you learn, they're also learning too. It just never really happens.
I mean, I could overtake people 3 grades higher than me because I was taller than them.
I meant knowledge-wise, but height works too.
Oh, I like this boost. BRT's gonna get one. Tiburcio in the meantime pushed up and out. They have the bomb. Detona just have they have the bomb. They have people in position to protect it. They have people at the front to stop them from being aggressive. I don't know what Infinity does here anymore. Oh, okay. He actually pulled into a one-on-one now, cruising. Might be the man they need. That was the. Oh, he was on 4 ADR for the longest time on 1 kill. Now he's on 3, and he's dying. He's dying here. There's no way.
As if VSM's just on the other side of that smoke. As if. That had to be perfect as well. If he runs any other way, like, he could have got past the AWP, but he literally runs into the barrel of the gun. That is as unlucky as it gets, and, well, you can see the smirk currently on VSM's face. I think they're all having a good time on the Brazilian side of things, and you can't really blame them. Everybody's performed well. Turtle has had a much better game than yesterday. Tiburcio, it's literally night and day. As said, I think he had 19 kills in the whole of the series yesterday. And I think he's easily going to beat that today in this map.
Heart into something gold. Knew I sold my soul to the devil long ago. I rode it all along on your way right before it broke. Time was thrown down the well, so I let you go.
know what has to be one of the most frustrating things about seeing that intro or that bumper back to game time and time again is if you're falling, seeing yourself getting knifed over and over again. That has to hurt. Just like it has to hurt to be down 3-12 in the first half of Inferno. But Infinity going to be swapping over to the CT side, and ideally this is their chance to bounce back. They might get aggressive, they might get crazy, and they're going to do just that, rushing straight down middle. They might catch out one player, the thing is reflected from behind, and somehow Detona have read into this perfectly.
Or not. They forgot about one, he's still at the bottom. This is a weird round already. It's such an aggressive push that the T's kind of forget that there's still another man behind them. Infinity are going to win the pistol round in a kind of odd fashion. But yeah, I'm going to sort of swiftly move away from that one and actually talk about the fact that Tibercio, whole of yesterday, 2 maps, 19 kills. First half of this map, 19 kills. What a turnaround.
It's like pineapples and oranges, Tom. Like pineapples
Sure, why
and
not?
oranges. I still don't want to count Detona out, though. They won the second round after losing the pistol round the first half. And that was off the back of Turtle hitting some fantastic deeks, though they're not going to have it this time, just the P250s to play fast.
I do
and imagine
count
Apartments
them out.
Rush going to be happening, though.
If they manage to win this round, I think Infinity should just get up and leave the keyboards, because they have invested literally, what, $900 into this round? Maybe they had a nade or two at the beginning, but this is so small amount invested, and they've already managed to get all the way down the bottom of Banana. This is the CT side with every single piece of information they could possibly get, so this should be very, very easy for them. And Sam already making it look just that. He's found 2 kills, giving his teammates a chance to get a little bit of extra money as well off the back of the SMGs, and they're going to win that one flawlessly.
Well, a pretty good start for them. Still hasn't been a clean map at all. But now the thing is, they're up against... I mean, luckily they didn't lose anyone, so they keep the weapons they have, but they should be up against Detona with the full buy. And yeah, you're seeing the AKs come in, the SG as well. And when you're Infinity, having 2 FAMASas, 2 SMGs, and just only 1 M4, this is going to be such a hard round to win.
Oh, that's so risky. Jumping over mid at the beginning of the round, you're asking for it. Sam is not getting lucky. This is a hiccup from pace from the T's. They're trying to finish this fast. I think it's something Furious sort of spoke about in their matches. They might get a little bit over the top sometimes and just try and brute force their ways into rounds. But luckily for them, they have taken so much control. They already have full arch control within the first 35 seconds of the round. It's kind of crazy.
Is Infinity trying to push for information towards short? They actually might catch out someone from this, or at least be able to rotate around them behind Arch. Turtle, though, is going to look for the peek in towards side. Tibercio looking for any sort of flank coming in from Banana. And look at that. Spamsy, he gets behind them. He gets behind 3 different players, wasn't expecting Cowsy to be there. Now it's pretty much all on Sam here to defend the backside of their short hold. They've taken the side, actually. They just forced the CTs out, and now Tibercio, who was on the long rotate, the lurk, will be dropped. Now 4-on-3. With 1 player in towards Apartments, Davies, I find it so hard for him to hit any shots from here, with just the amount of rifles he has to compete with. The time is ticking away, Tom.
Yeah, he's going to get dropped. Luckily, the MP9 is pretty damn accurate if you tap it, but I wonder if they're even still going to be going for anything here. Like, should just be looking to save the remaining 2 rifles. They have enough money that they can drop a couple as well and get another bought up. So this isn't Infinity out of the match just yet, although the fashion in which Detona were able to win that one is quite worrying. Like, there really wasn't much resistance. Good utility usage from Detona, at least on their execution, but the fact that they were able to get arch control so fast is a worry.
They didn't even fight for it. Like, they didn't have to actually kill anyone to get there. They just walked into it.
Yep.
With some utility. And you can't really afford to have that happen if you're Infinity. You can't give up that much, such a crucial part of the map for free.
Yeah, I do wonder if that was maybe their attempt to just use the SMGs a little bit better, but it didn't seem like they were particularly well set up. I think you need to be within the site if that's going to be the case. If you are giving up arch control, you can't be holding that far back on short. This is so aggressive from Turtle. He just runs through the Molotov, hopes to catch someone off with the timing, but in fact, he's giving them an upgrade.
I guess, more like the hair there. How fast he pushed up Banana.
Isn't that a tortoise? From the hair?
Basically the same thing. Turtles and tortoises. I think there had to be like the same. I'm sure there's like some scientific reason why
I
they're
think
different.
one of them can't go underwater, or it's something like that. It's like one of them is a land animal.
Like it's like similar to like frogs and toads.
Because there was like
and
a
alligators and
a
crocodiles.
meme or something where like some girl goes to put one of them, I think it's like a tortoise, back into the water.
Oh no.
And then someone said, yeah, they can't breathe
Oh
underwater.
no.
It's
So I
like-
think it's tortoises can't go underwater then.
Maybe. I don't know. Someone in Twitch chat is probably screaming right now, but I'm sorry, I'm not an expert.
You can let us know on Twitter though. Use the hashtag ESL Pro League. Meantime, we're seeing the push command Detona streak towards the B side. There's a stack here. But will the stack work out for him is going to be the question. They lose out on 2 players pretty much off the bat, though VSM will burn. And they're trying to boost up Cruz, and will he actually be expected? He gets 1. He's looking for the second. I don't know how he's not dead yet. He somehow gets around the corner. PRT, though, is trying to punish Davies, and technically they have control of the site, but not for long. Cruz is looking for more. He gets 1. Not going to get the second, but it does turn it into... I don't know why I actually pushed up that aggressively, because it turns it into a one-on-one now. Sam up against PRT, and Sam's going to be dropped. PRT gets his 3rd of the round. Detona's on 14.
That was a nice shot. I thought he was dead for sure. His opponent knew exactly where he was, so that just came down to pure aim out from PRT. And as said, we've seen pretty much everyone perform so far for Detona. It's not something I think we witnessed yesterday. I do think they were also up against a tougher opponent.
Yeah.
But I also think just going into this match, they probably just thought, okay, we are the better team. We know we're the better team. We've beaten them before. Just going to do it again. Normal day in the office.
Oh, just pisses for Infinity. Not much utility either, so they can't stack over towards the B site. Speaking of utility, Malb's down to 41 health already from grenades. I mean, for Detona, if it's working, you might as well just keep doing it. You haven't been halted just yet, even though the last round was relatively close. It was down to the one-on-one. It could have gone either way. But here we go, the push straight in. Just the smoke being thrown down. Malbs is able to get 1, but he needs to find more than this, because now he's left alone, and unfortunately they will lose out on all their players, though they still have Sam here. You can see he almost wanted to push the smoke to stop the bomb from being planted, but that really would have net him pretty much nothing.
They are making this round very costly. How has Sam got this far without anybody realizing? There we go, Turtle. Eventually he beats from Banana is like, yeah, mate, you're not surviving there. Well, eventually they're going to clean this up. The other two can't really peek too much, so I was surprised that Lucalzi actually gets away with surviving, considering he only had 6 HP for the majority of that. But nonetheless, 15 rounds now hit. It is worth mentioning this is also the pick of Infinity, which, as I think they actually, at Detona actually have a pretty poor win percentage even on this map, so they're going to get to push that up a little bit, of course, unless they do a liquid and this ends all the way back up at overtime. But at least CT side do have a buy in this round.
Yeah. I mean, even though they only had really pistols and very limited utility, it still seems so difficult for Detona to actually get in that site currently. And Davies, well, maybe he's had enough. He's tired of being here on the desk. He's going to actually go down to the stage to play and gets himself 2 kills. But again, they get a man advantage, and then they lose a player. Malb's going to be the one to go down, and he was one of the stars, him and Sam together yesterday. Oh, no.
VSM so low, he couldn't really take too much of a fight there. This is going to mainly come down to what Turtle and his in-game leader can do in this round. There's actually only a single flashbang left for Infinity as well, and again, they've abandoned Archside. This could be a big problem for them. I'm a bit disappointed the T's aren't waiting, but yeah. I guess they're more using VSM as the player to hold up rotations rather than the one to try and get in behind them, but clearly he doesn't know how clear everything actually is. Now we'll start to make his move back around. The smoke is actually going to shield him from being spotted, but it seems like his teammates, or Spamsy's teammate, has actually said, okay, there is going to be a potential for someone to wrap around. It's all going to come down to timing here. If VSM can get this kill, but he doesn't. Spamsy turns around at the exact right moment, and Tiburcio left on his own. 20 seconds, he'll get the first kill, but this is where the rotations start to begin. He doesn't know there's nobody currently in. CT needs this kill fast and isn't going to get it. It's Sam the man on the site. 15-6, the CT's finally getting around, but the question is, can they now build from it? I don't actually know if the T's will have money here, though.
Yeah, I didn't catch actually their funds before the round did finish off. I was just thinking more about Davies. If he doesn't get that double kill from window, how potentially could that round have turned out? It looks like Detona will take a quick timeout here to talk some things over, and Tiburcio has done it. He has beaten out on one map.
He did it in the first half.
Oh, he did do it. I thought he got 19.
I brought it up.
I thought he said he got 19
Well, yeah,
first half.
19 is the same as yesterday.
Okay, but now he's beaten it with 21.
We already knew that was going to happen.
There could have been a world where he gets 0 kills the rest of the series.
They won some rounds. If he gets, basically would have had to be hard carried the last couple. But yeah, as I said, it's been a big turnaround from a lot of different players. Like VSM is still relatively similar, and if anything, Lukowski you could say is a bit quieter than yesterday, but most of that is just down to everybody else performing.
Lukowski on Vertigo, I remember he was actually battling for VSM in the early stages of being the top fragger, then he fell off like halfway through the map.
I think he did actually pick it up though again in the second half. Like I think he ended with like, I think it was 20 kills. 20 kills, 19 deaths. I do remember it.
I wonder how you remember that one. Inside jokes. Anyways, 15-6. Whoa, that was such a big stack in Toyd's boiler. There's no way you'd expect that to happen.
The funny thing is, I reckon they were setting up to boost, and he just came around the corner. So instead, there's just 2 players staring into his eyes. Well, T-side do look like they're about to build up for another fast play. They've got a lot of utility here, but they're actually going to be pushed by Davies. He gets 2 kills. Big from him, and Turtle, well, eventually trades, but that was a suicide play in itself, expecting there to be no one else left on the site. Tiburcio, similar scenario to the last round. A lot more time. Does eventually just wait patiently. There's only one more man on the site, but I think by the time he actually makes his push, the rotation is going to be coming in. Tiburcio still gets another one, though. Even just making this costly, as he wraps around, there's going to be 2 players here waiting. This should not be possible now, and it won't be. Spamsy is going to shoot him through the box, and Infinity are going to get their 7th in the end.
Now, one thing I don't want to see out of Detona here is I don't want to see them consistently forcing up. Just go for the save in a round, get your full weaponry. You're up by a lot of rounds. There's no need to give any hope for the side of Infinity. Okay, and they will go for the save. Just a couple of pistols bought up here. But for Infinity, for their side, they have to have clean rounds. They need to be able to consistently buy up. They need to obviously be able to win every single round from here out. Good amount of utility usage towards Banana as well. We'll pretty much lock down PRT. You can see the way the Detona's set up. They're looking for some picks. Tiburcio off towards himself at the A site. VSM looking around the corner. We'll expect both players to be here, though. Spot on the first with a nice jump up, actually. That was really well placed, if you think about it. As the player, I think it was, what, Spamsy holding the angle anyways, and just jumps on his head, sandbags, and gets a clean kill and then backs away. Cal's almost pulling his best Sam impression. But this should be done. This should be Infinity taking an 8th round. And they didn't lose a single player, so good job by them.
Yeah, at least making sure that their money's going to be good going forward. Of course, it's a scenario where they're more likely to lose the match than run out of money, as it only takes 1. We are now going to get the T's buying up once again. AK's on the majority. CT side definitely still with a big advantage when it comes to utility, and they're going to be expending a lot of it early into the round just to try and hold back, but they run through the smoke. I am beyond confused. I don't know what the attempt was there, but they've just handed Tiburcio 2 kills. He didn't need them. He was already on 23. He now breaks the 25 marker and gives them a 2-man advantage in the round that could potentially win them the match. Sam already low as well. He's been one of the top performers for his team, but I don't know how much you can really expect from him here. And they're just throwing out a little bit of extra utility in the direction of the A site. But it looks like their hit is still going to be coming in towards B.
Well, it was going to come all down to Davies, but Sam will be rotating in to help. The fire players, Detona, are barely in on this site. They want the map. They want this final round done. Spam come this one, not going to connect. Davies peeks around the other smoke, and he gets his head taken off. And Sam's going to fall as well as he tries to push in towards the site. Now it's all left on Cruisin', 1v5 to save the round. And keep them alive in the first map. And VSM just going to round the corner and finish that off. 16-8 is going to be the scoreline. A very, I'd say, generally easy game for Detona. They didn't seem to struggle too much at all.
It's dominant.
Their pistol rounds, well, didn't work out for them too well.